So there was a Porsche, an expensive black Porsche that was parked on PCH in Malibu, and I walked past it on the way to the beach, and I saw the big cock and recipient of what the cock was producing.
Just spurting into his mouth.
All over the hood. And in large, this was 3 foot by 3.5 foot. And then...
everything's a canvas.
Yep. At some point, somebody tweeted me, hey, I was walking down PCH. Is this the car you're talking about?
That's the very same.
And I said, yeah, that's one and the same. And the tweet from Jamie Cotton says, I think this was brought up on your show a few episodes ago. I was walking in Malibu yesterday and happened upon this gem. I don't know if it's the same one. I pray it's the same one because we have a rash of cocks drawn on hoods of Porsches. It's time to leave Malibu. Anyway, we may have or do we have basically a serial Yanksy in Malibu? And so I said, yeah, that's the same car, and replied back. And then the next day or later on that day, I made my pilgrimage down to the beach and passed the same car, still parked in the same place.
Oh, boy.
This is a hate crime against bald people.
With an addition.
Oh, no.
An addition had been added to it. Please. And
I'm sorry, someone described that. What am I looking at?
It's another. It's
Is
like
that a tongue?
a happy face with a tongue and a luscious head of hair, licking the tip that's spurting into the bald dude's mouth.
Wow.
At some
Seems
point,
like a different artist.
You got to bust out that California duster and go over the $114,000 vehicle, right? I mean,
would you be the little car fairy that cleaned this up for him?
I'm going to have to grab my ShamWow and head down there because there are kids in the neighborhood and they have to pass this.
Yeah.
And
this is great.
This is painting quite the milieu.
Yeah. So now then the question is it the same artist? I don't think so. I think
different eyes.
Somebody just contributed to it.
Yeah.
Might there be a third offering in the works?
I think we let it be and see what. Let's see what this baby can do.
All right.
This is like a cover song. A Beatles covering like Chuck Berry or something.
This is great.
Yeah. So
great artist inspires great art.
There was that.
Mr. Cotton, get over there and add your work.
There was a let's see. There was a sad in the sort of where we're at as a society. This is on the probably the other side of the tracks. Number 2 tweet was this crazy footage of these young black kids, probably 3-4 years old, in like an underpants diaper. One was literally in a diaper, and I think it was in Minnesota somewhere, and the cops were showing up serving a warrant, and these kids were playing outside or came outside to greet the cops, but we'll show you what happened.
Come and face that.
Oh, Jesus.
Called him a bitch and punched a cop in the balls. The kids are... how old are these kids?
I'm guessing 3, Brian. Do you
the
think
one in
2.5?
diapers is 2.5.
Yeah.
They're
That kid's maybe 3.5.
Yeah, they're...
Ooh, the little one just smacks the guy over and over again.
I don't know if they have such a thing as pre-juvie, but sign this kid up. So
this is a harbinger of a bad life to come.
We've done an exquisite job in convincing kids and dumb people that the cops are racist. And I've said all the time, why wouldn't you do? Well, this is a logical outgrowth of if you think cops are killing innocent black people, and then you're young and you're male and you're black and you get pulled over, why not wrestle with the cop? That doesn't seem logical not to, if that's the theme, if that's what you think.
Thinking cops are racist or think cops are evil or whatever is one thing. This is a step beyond that. This is manifesting itself as, I'm going to create physical violence against these police officers.
Well, and even a step farther, you're indoctrinating somebody who wouldn't know up, down, left, or right.
That's
a little
crazy.
kid. You're having to tell them who the enemy is.
And then, of course, one of the cops is black, and so then he becomes the Uncle Tom, or the Oreo, as someone standing nearby
Officer Tom.
called him. And it's a good way to, A, get your kids killed by the cops, but it's also a better way to have the cops go, whatever the fuck's going on in that neighborhood, I'm not stopping and getting out of my car, so they can just kill each other, which is essentially what happens when cops pull back. When cops pull back, the folks who own the Porsche in Malibu, they're not really affected. But when cops pull back in tough neighborhoods, then more people, young people, get killed. So, hey, Black Lives Matter, nice job. Wonderful job. And is there anything without, part two? You know what I mean? You can't do a year and a half of cops are racist and evil and then not have more murders in black communities. And you can't talk about, green energy and shutting down pipelines and going after petrochemical companies without gas prices $7 a gallon. And we got to get our gas now from some of the worst players on the planet. You can't just do the first part. The second part will come in.
We have to do the now what?
Comes in fast. It comes in fast. So we have a whole. I've been harping about this for years. Everyone has this thing where it's like, you have to have that conversation with your young black son about cops being racist and having a target on their back. You have to have a conversation about respecting the cops, keeping your hands on the steering wheel, and
not
yes, sir,
striking them.
Yes, sir, no, sir, and not striking. Now, so where did the kids at 3? Where do you get this idea? It's not like you turned on Nickelodeon.
That's what I'm saying. You have to be indoctrinated.
Yes, you have to get it from your parents or your parent, and they have to get it from the movement in society at large. So nice job. Fantastic job. And we're not going to have recruitment by cops. No one's going to want to be a cop. Then we're going to pull back and we'll do community policing. It's all insane based on a lie, which is the cops are going after unarmed black men. The numbers are staggering. You people should look into it. It's minuscule, the number of unarmed black men that are killed by cops. It's, again, maybe between 15 and like 22 every year, and there's just nothing to support it. So, but keep going, and we'll see how this kid turns out. We'll see how his life works out, wrestling with cops. On that note, although Chris didn't pull it because I didn't talk to him about it, but in the worst mom / girlfriend in the world department. You're top 10, but you ain't number one. Okay. Number one is there's that whole situation in the bodega where the guy was sitting there and he stabbed the guy and he's in Rikers, and then they had a $500,000 bail, and then they reduced it to $250,000, and then people got outraged, and now he's out. But that whole thing started because the mom showed up, and Chris, you can look for the article, but I think it was late, like midnight or something. Anyway, the mom
This was the dude who went behind the counter and started smacking the old guy?
Yes, and then the old guy stabbed him, and then we arrested the old guy. So, because that's the New World Order. It's basically the taxpayers versus the non-taxpayers in the war that's waged on those who play by the rules or those who are being attacked. The part of that story that people don't know is that guy who's now dead, who was a career criminal, was out on parole for assaulting a cop. Hey, what? No.
Pattern fits.
Yes. That guy, a couple things. Since Loveline, I've always been wildly curious about people who are out on parole playing so fast and
Doubling
loose.
down.
Like, you're out on parole. Your old lady wants a bag of chips at the bodega. Her debit card provided by the government is not working. Now, you ended up losing your life. Good. But you're on parole.
Yeah.
It's a bag of Doritos.
You should have just said no chips tonight.
You really want to head down and physically assault somebody and just go right back into Rikers over chips? So
Chappelle had a segment where when keeping it real goes wrong.
That's right.
This is when keeping it real goes wrong.
Yeah.
Well, she is the world's worst mother and potentially girlfriend because that guy wasn't even there. She went in to go get her bag of chips.
Oh, he was in the car or something, yeah?
I don't know where he was, but he wasn't there. It wasn't in the... I don't know if he was in the car.
Well, either way, she retrieved him to
He was at
settle
home.
this.
He was at home.
Oh, no shit.
He was at home. And he was just there, probably hanging around watching Jeopardy. And
Boning up.
she goes in with her government-funded card, tries to buy a bag of empty carbs for her son or daughter. The card doesn't work. The guy tries it a few times. It's not working. And so he says, you can't have the chips. To which she says, this is bullshit. Her, by the way, free chips because it's not her money. Anyway, he takes the chips back from the kid, and then she calls the guy who's on parole and says to the guy behind the counter, you're going to get your ass kicked now.
Oh, boy.
Now, first off, I'm very interested whether it's driving on the road, as I've discussed with some people, or getting a bag of chips with your debit card from the government. What are your rules in terms of society? That your card doesn't work, so you're going to call your boyfriend to come
Not
down
for $1.25.
and physically assault the guy who's
The messenger.
He doesn't own the bodega.
Yeah.
He just works there. That's so. Like how easily are you triggered by things not working out?
I'd say very.
This is pretty straightforward. Do that move where you rub it on the thigh of your pants for a few minutes.
Blow on it.
Blow on it, like I do with my room key that doesn't work. So she calls the guy. The guy then comes down, and now he's kind of in this position where he's got to now stand up for his lady.
Yeah.
And
Trust in a service.
God knows what she tells him.
But yeah, there was no affront to her. What is he
Well,
standing up
he doesn't
for?
know that.
But in the honor of his lady was besmirched by the man at the bodega.
So he must, slap him with a glove.
Right.
Right. So who knows what she says
Right.
to him. And then he comes down like, what the fuck's going on? And then he goes around and then he assaults the guy and then the guy stabs him. And so from the time he gets the phone call to the time he's dead, it's probably about 15 minutes. Nice. It's also, you can say to the old lady, hey, I'm on parole.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't come down and engage in a physical altercation.
With the place that has all the cameras?
Yes, of course.
Maybe not. But he throws caution to the wind. He comes down. Then
That's what she likes about him.
she, I think after the guy who was working at the bodega stabbed the guy, she then attempts to stab
Oh, I didn't see that.
the guy.
Oh, that's love.
I saw this the day it broke, so that's a few days ago.
Yes.
So I didn't see any of
This
the
is
updates.
uncovered footage.
I didn't see that.
More footage from a different angle. Now, I hope she's in jail, but she wasn't initially. She was just the one who got her boyfriend dead over a bag of chips. I don't know. Is there any? I think there was an article about it.
Did she
out there.
successfully stab him or just attempt to?
There's footage of her holding the knife like time, but no, I don't think she stabbed him. Was able to stab him, but she was attempting to stab him. So that may be the world's worst mom / girlfriend.
Oh, poor
right.
kid.
God,
So we
seriously.
confirmed that she has a kid. She was getting the chip for the kid.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So she probably should be dealt with, and the kid probably needs to go to a better. Maybe the family with the 3-year-old who puts their kids in diapers and have them attack law enforcement.
Yeah.
Maybe probably stand a better chance with that group.
Is there an Ace Butler situation where the bodega worker has to now raise the kid?
Oh, by law.
Yeah.
Yes.
By law.
Yeah. I would watch that sitcom.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Chris can look around for that article. Don't know. Came out yesterday, the day before.
Yeah. I'm just skimming through it.
I'm
here.
just looking right here on the Daily News. During the scuffle, the girlfriend pulled a knife from her purse.
Oh, how nice.
And stabbed Alba in the arm, but was not charged with any crime.
Again, one person in this equation pays taxes and tries to run a business legally that pays taxes. The other person gets money from the government and carries a knife in their purse. The guy who pays taxes is the guy who goes to Rikers. She is Fine. She
And by
gets
the way,
to go home.
because he went to Rikers immediately, that stab is infected, according to the story. So he's not doing real well. And, we're all God's children. Fantastic. I think he may have been, fallen on hard times if this was his his only employment opportunity. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about a guy that just wants to go sit in the bodega and go to work and get his paycheck.
Bring up your
It's
chips.
not like we really stuck it to the man this time,
Stuck it.
Yeah. Then he goes to Rikers. Now he has an festering wound.
Is there more to this? Sorry to interrupt, because the footage I saw was a few days ago when the original whatever, clearly self-defense. The guy comes behind him, starts attacking him.
You pushed him into a chair and he fell backwards.
And now we get into big tech and insanity. I think somebody started like a GoFundMe bail for the guy, and GoFundMe took it down.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ, people. We're getting in a weird upside-down world here. The homeless are the heroes. The taxpayers are the problem. I've said it a million times. You cannot have that huge chasm between the criminals and the non-taxpayers and the people with no criminal history who go to work.
And we saw the heroes yesterday of the kids getting off a city bus and going to school.
Yes.
We saw the heroes that were lined against the street with the kids trying not to get stabbed with a needle.
Yes. All right. We also have good news for me. Number 4 tweet was somebody tweeted me a placard from inside a bathroom on an airplane.
Oh.
And my lament. It says federal law prohibits tampering with smoke detector
look at
in this
that.
lavatory.
Efficient.
Brevity.
Saving ink.
That's right.
I'm telling
Disabling.
you, when I started flying in the mid or later 90s, I only heard it on one airline. It was just one airline. I paid attention, tampering with, disabling, or destroying. I would always want to scream, you had me at tampering, but keep going, bitch.
Falls under that umbrella.
Right. But it was really like American or United. It was like one airline, and others didn't do it. And then it started to spread.
That sounds
And
pretty
in
good.
5 or 6 years, every airline had the same pattern. But
The data came out from American Airlines our tampering is down 28%.
federal law prohibits tampering with smoke detector in this lavatory. Good.
Short and sweet.
We're done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
All right. So good news on that front. Somebody tweeted me a John Stewart clip.
Oh, I haven't watched this yet, but I know it's making the rounds. I mean, I didn't see the whole thing.
All right, thanks for telling us.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I want to see this because do you know what this is?
No, I don't actually.
Everybody is talking about this, and I kind of thought we'd get into it, so I'm excited.
It was based, or do we have the tweet there, Chris? It was
based on the Pedo Peter.
Yes, Pedo Pete.
The hashtag. Yeah, they wrote Pedo Peter on it, but yeah.
What is Pedo Peter?
or pedo.
That was the name that Hunter Biden gave to Joe Biden in his contact list.
Oh my.
So
Oh,
Yeah, so I figured we would watch the clip.
they're getting into the laptop, and the laptop has tons of stuff on it. Evidently, Hunter Biden just chronicled every nefarious thing he did. There's footage of
Dear
him.
diary, what a day.
There's footage of him weighing crack cocaine.
what are you supposed to take the drug dealer's word for it?
What I'm saying is we all do things, and there's a public version of us, and then there's a private version of us. I masturbated, or I took a BM, or whatever this. I blew a snot rocket in the shower.
Big morning.
But I did not. I don't feel the necessity to chronicle it.
Right,
You know what I
record
mean?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
He's filming. There's a million pictures of him smoking crack. Why?
Does that suggest what is he not recording?
I guess.
Like,
but
is he burying bodies?
What is that? What do we do with this picture of you and a prostitute weighing crack, or filming the weighing of crack, or smoking of the crack? You certainly can't share it with friends and family
Yes,
members.
what is the purpose
It's not
here?
for the Christmas
This is
card.
To what end?
This is right. This is just for you,
Yeah.
presumably. But why?
But why?
He chronicled everything, and there is you can find the crack weighing thing. But anyway,
Yes, please.
Joe
He should
Biden.
be the weights and measures czar.
Joe Biden needed a name, and he couldn't come up as Joe Biden. for security reasons.
Someone gets his phone.
He was, Peter Johnson or something. And so Hunter in his phone went pedo Pete.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Again, like kind of unnecessary.
Yeah. Self-inflicted wound, I would say.
But anyway, someone then pulled this John Stewart clip up from, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, I guess. And I'm not sure when this
is
is
the Daily
from.
Show, because he hasn't been the host for
Yeah,
many years.
it was during the Daily Show. Yeah,
More than
this is when he
7
was
years
vice
ago.
president, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Joe Stewart was the goddamn best.
Yeah.
He obviously had a point of view. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He came from a certain position of the aisle, but he called it like it was. He gave it that equally.
I agree. That's why he was the best.
Oh, boy.
Maybe still is.
Joe
Maybe still is.
definitely likes to smell hair. I think we can all we all have signed off on that.
There's something going on because also in his daughter's diary, she wrote about him taking showers with her and said it was weird and uncomfortable and like inappropriate.
His own daughter, sorry.
Yes.
Brian, when's the last time you took a shower with Tessa?
Just last night. but
Okay,
she's
so
also
that's
fine.
pretty normal, yeah.
Yeah. So there's his daughter makes mention of it in this diary. Maybe Chris will find it somewhere. And then his son makes the joke, but jokes live somewhere.
Yeah.
It wouldn't.
Yeah.
They don't really, exist if let's just say the guy's really into NASCAR and not so much into sniffing young kids' hair, then it doesn't make sense. You'd make some sort of joke about NASCAR or something or whatever the subject, some band the guy loves or something like that. So there's something. Ashley Biden's diary, Crystal.
Yeah, so according to Daily Mail, Ashley Biden, a drug addict, left her personal diary under a mattress in a Palm Beach, Florida halfway house where she stayed during a rehab stint. And the diary reportedly details her drug abuse, sex addiction, and her being hypersexualized. And she also recounts times she showered with her father when she was young. Something she allegedly wrote was, quote, probably not appropriate.
Yeah, young could mean like 9 or 10 or 11, which would not be appropriate, I would imagine. I don't know. What about you and Sonny?
I would say that I would use the word squeamish about seeing my kids in any version of undress or anything. In almost any phase of their existence.
Really?
I would file it under what's in it for me. I could be changing a diaper or I could be downstairs watching TV. And, they're in the tub, they'd have a bath, you'd walk in and blow some bubbles or something. But it was always,
Not your scene.
Not my scene. What good could come of it is how I just filed it under that. I didn't give weird energy about it. I didn't yell cover up, you're going to hell or
blasphemer
or any of that. But I was just like, and when they become teenagers, a lot of door knocking and slow door opening. I'm not interested in busting anyone or walking in the middle of, or I want nothing to do with that. And I've always kind of been that way. I wouldn't do that under any circumstances because for me, I don't know why. It's like some people have a thing about. We were talking yesterday about Howie Mandel's friend with the prolapsed anus.
We sure were.
America's divided. Many Americans, and I don't judge them, would like to see it. I do not want to see it. Now, why don't I want to see it? Is that really because I'm pro-anus or anti-anus?
or anywhere in between?
Yes, or proctologist or anything. It's just, it falls under the heading of, no thanks.
No good can come of it.
No good. It's the same way about showering with my kids. It's just, what?
Why?
Why? You got to shower. I got to shower. We get it.
We all know how it's done.
Yeah. So that's how I roll.
Sorry, real quick. Meeting in the middle or meeting those two, showing your kids the prolapsed anus could prevent any number of problems in the future.
but could create some
Number of problems
like
in
alcohol
the future.
addiction.
You ride that bike without a seat, son, you're going to end up like those kinds of teachable moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Sorry, Vinny, what?
Oh, when we showed that video, it was a censored version. Vinny looks at me. He points at his phone. He's like motion, like text me the uncensored version. Like I really want to see it.
Oh boy.
That's Vinny.
He's all the way up there in Virginia.
Oh, and I showed him some pretty gnarly wound openings. He's into that shit.
But by the way, this is why I can't hunt and I can barely fish.
Yeah.
Just that you take it, you put the hook in the eye of the minnow, and then it'll be like live bass. Like I'm not putting a hook into the eye of one of God's creatures. And then when you get the fish on, you have to hit it with the bat.
Yeah,
you hit it with the bat, and then later we'll gut it. You know, and I'm like, let's go to the seafood market and let's see what halibut costs. That's who I am. I'm squeamish. It's not my sensibilities. I'm not offended. I'm
You're
just
sensitive to the images, visceral.
When I'll tell you this, and at the risk of sounding like a hero,
Okay.
I'm too empathetic.
Mm-hmm. It's long and said.
He's been accused of it often.
I know, but let me explain. When I was a kid and I watched a movie about like prisoners, I felt horrible for the prisoners. I was just it depressed me to no end. I made the mistake.
My God, you've changed.
I know. Well, now I would just want them killed by Bodega owners so they don't have to rot at Rikers. But I saw a movie like Papillon, and I was so depressed that this guy was in jail, you know, and I would always kind of feel so bad for these people, and it just sort of goes that with hunting and fishing. It's like I feel bad for the moose, you know, like he got shot in the neck, you know, like I get it. I had a hamburger that night, so shit, you know, I'm a hypocrite, but I felt that way, and I just feel the same way about injuries and prolapsed anuses and showering with kids.
Do you remember driving back from a San Diego live show back in the radio days, circa 2008? And it was one of those, the radio station got us a limo with a TV in the back, and we decided to watch whatever the latest Jackass movie was, 1 or 2 or whatever. And Adam physically shielded his eyes with a hat so as not to watch some of the more grotesque, I don't know what you would call it. And you uttered, "My teeth, this makes my teeth hurt."
Yes, I remember that.
Because when a guy's getting his hog bitten by a king snake, I just transfer it to me. I just go, I would hate to be that moose, and I would hate to be that dick.
So let me ask you this. Then why, when Drew was in the middle of a full-on raging panic attack, did you scream at him and tell him to snap out of it?
That was for him.
It was holding it up his schedule.
But did you...
And holding up my schedule.
Understood.
Yeah, there were too many people surrounding him.
Chutchkieing him, as the Jews say.
Fanning it. They were fanning it on. They kept yelling like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Breathe into this bag." And he was getting worse. I felt like he needed the
voice of reason.
He needed the yank of the chain at that
Caesar
point.
Milan.
You put the hook in the eye of the minnow, and then it'll be like live bass. Like I'm not putting a hook into the eye of one of God's creatures. And then when you get the fish on, you have to hit it with the bat. You hit it with the bat, and then later we'll gut it. You know, and I'm like, let's go to the seafood market and let's see what halibut costs.